Today I am going to take a class from Unit 2, Lesson 1. The topic of the lesson is How I Taught My Grandmother to Read, written by Sudhamurthy. She is Mrs. Sudhamurthy. She is the author of this lesson. She writes his childhood memories through this lesson. She was born in 1950, is an Indian author and educator, and she writes both Kannada and English. Most of her short stories are about real life incidents she came across. Some stories make your eye wet, some stories make you smile, but every story will definitely touch your soul. Her stories uphold positive human values like some simple living and charity. She was the only female student in the class, 600 students. She topped in her class during her graduation and received gold medal from the chief minister. She received many awards like Padma Shri. And her stories, some of her well-known works are The Serpent's Revenge, The Day I Stopped Drinking Milk, and Grandma Baga stories. Now we are going to discuss the lesson. It was a beautiful lesson. It expresses the beautiful relationship between the grandmother and the granddaughter. The story begins as the author recalls her childhood memories. In her childhood days, at the age of 12, what he did with her grandparents. Through this lesson, narrator shared his beautiful relationship with her grandmother. When she was a girl of about 12, she used to stay in a village in North Karnataka with her grandparents. In those days, transport system was not very good, so they used to get morning paper only in the afternoon. All of them would wait eagerly for the bus, which used to come with the papers, weekly magazines, and post. Her grandmother, Kristaka, she never went to school, so she couldn't read. Every Wednesday, Karmavira would come and she would read the episodes of her Casi to her grandmother. Karmavira is a weekly magazine. Kasi is a serial was appearing in the weekly magazine, right? கர்மவீரன்ற நாவலில் வந்த ஒரு ஒரு கதை தான் காசி யாத்ரா, ஓகேவா? அதில் தட் இஸ் த grandmother's favorite story. Kasi Yatra is a grandmother's favorite story. During that time, whenever the granddaughter read the story for her grandmother, during that time the grandmother could forget all her work and listen with the greatest concentration. Students, you should understand clearly how I taught my grandmother to read. It was one lesson. It was written by Mrs. Sudhamurthy. She is our author. Sudhamurthy's grandmother, her name is Kristaka. Her favorite novel is Kasiyatra. It was written by Triveni. At the time, Triveni was a popular writer in Kannada language. One of her novelists called Kasiyatra, was appearing as a serial in the Kannada weekly Karmavira at the time. The novel Kasiyatra is written by Triveni. He was a famous writer of that time. It was appearing as a serial in the Kannada weekly Karmavira at the time. The novel Kasiyatra is a story of old women who wants to visit Kasi because most of Hindus believe that going to Kasi is ultimate punya. காசிக்கு போகணும் அப்படின்னு லைஃப்ல ஒன்ஸாவது நம்ம காசிக்கு போகணும் அப்படின்னு எவ்ரி ஒன் திங்க் லைக் தட். அண்ட் she was also Hindu and believed in this, but she didn't visit Kasi because the money she collected to visit Kasi given by her to orphan girl who wants money for her marriage. Serial means a story of television, the radio, or in the magazine that is broadcast or published in the several separate parts. ஓகே, ஒரு ஒரு பிக் பார்ட்லேருந்து ஒரு ஹோல் பார்ட்லேருந்து சின்ன சின்ன பார்ட்ஸாக உங்களுக்கு பிரித்து செப்பரேட் பண்ணி தரது தான் சீரியல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Varanasi, Banaras and Kasi are the various names of this most scared of 7 pilgrimage sites that Hindus aspire to visit during their lifetime. Hindus எல்லாருமே லைஃப்பில் ஒன்ஸ் வந்து காசிக்கு போகணும்னு நினைப்பாங்க. பிகாஸ் இஃப் வி விசிட் காசி we will definitely go to heaven அப்படின்னு ஒரு it was a belief, one of the Hindus believe. Okay, the Kasi Viswanath temple situated here is considered to guarantee one of a straight ticket to heaven. Once the author went for a wedding with their cousin to the neighboring village. They enjoyed themselves thoroughly. They would eat and play endlessly, showering means enjoying freedom because all the elders were busy. When she came back to her village, she found her grandmother in tears. She was surprised, for she had never seen she cry even in the most difficult of situations. Those difficult situations கூட அவங்க grandmother சேடாக பார்த்தது கிடையாது. பட் ஆன் that day he looked very unhappy. So the author thought her grandmother had a problem. So she asked her grandmother, Ava, is everything all right? Are you okay? Because she used to her grandmother Ava, used to call her grandmother Ava, which means mother in Kannada language. But her grandmother nodded but didn't reply anything. So she did not understand and forgot about it. In the night, after dinner, they were sleeping in the open terrace of the house. It was a summer night. There was a full moon. The Awa came and sit next to her, and her affectionate hands touched her forehead. Then only she realized the grandmother want to speak with her. Again, he asked her grandmother, "What is the matter?" But her but her grandmother was good looking, a lady who was usually always smiling. But that day she looked at her grandmother's face. It was unhappy and her eyes were filled with tears. So she leaned forward and held her hand. She worried a lot. Grandma told a story to her granddaughter. What happened in her childhood days. She was a young girl. She lost her mother. So there was nobody to look after and guide her. Her father was a busy man and got married again. In those days, people never considered education essential for girls. So she never went to school and she got married very young and she had children. She became very busy. Later, she had a grandchildren and always felt so happy cooking and feeding all of them. At times, she used to regret not going to school. So she made sure that her grandchildren and grand studied well. And more than that, whenever the Karmavira came, she opened the magazine and she saw the picture that accompanies the story of Kasi Yatra, but she could not understand anything that was written. She could have asked somebody in the village, but she was embarrassed to do so. So she felt so very dependent and helpless. So she took a wise decision because they are well off, but the uses money when she cannot be independent. அவங்களால இண்டிபெண்ட்டாக இருக்க முடியலனா அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு ஒரு ஸ்டோரி கூட படிக்க தெரியலனா மணி இஸ் யூஸ்லெஸ் அப்படின்னு she felt like that. So uh, it was a quite surprise. He decided something. It was quite surprise and unbelievable decision. Ava decided to learn Kannada alphabet from next day onwards. She would read, ready to work hard. After here, the narrator was getting shocked because Ava was 60 years old and her hands were wrinkled. More than that, she had a lot of work in the kitchen. Ava smiled and said, "For a good cause, if you are determined, you can overcome any obstacles. For learning, age is no limit." The next day onwards, they started tuition. Ava was a wonderful student. The amount of homework she did was amazing. She could read, and write, and recite. Then the Dussehra festival came as usual. The grandmother called the granddaughter and her family to the place of worship and made her sit on a stool. And she gave a gift to her granddaughter. It was a lengthy of fabric to be colored into a dress. Then she did something unusual. She bent down and touched her granddaughter's feet. It was surprised. and that granddaughter taken back. Elders never touched the feet of youngsters, but the Awa replied that she was touching the feet of a teacher, not her granddaughter. A teacher who taught her well and with so much affection that she could then read any novel confidently. Then she was independent. That was her duty to respect her teacher. A teacher should be respected, respect of age. Then the author also touched her granddaughter's feet and gave a gift. That was the novel Casi by Triveni. Grandma was very, very happy because the Casi is her very favorite novel, right? So that she felt very happy. The little granddaughter was grown up like a that little girl, the little granddaughter. Now she is the chairperson of Infosys Foundation. அடிக்கடி Infosys Foundation சொல்றேன். What is that? It was a multinational company. It has a branch in all over world. She is the chairperson and his husband is the founder of Infosys Foundation. It and he wrote many books. He is a social worker, and he has received many awards and many rewards. Such a wonderful and such a role model for every woman. Sudha Muthu is a she wrote many books. She received many awards, many rewards. Whatever it is, now she has a best role model for every woman. But this qualities is come from your childhood days. அவங்க childhood daysலேருந்தே அவங்கள்ட்ட இருந்து வந்துட்டு இருக்க ஒரு குவாலிட்டி, அவங்க இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ணிக்கிட்ட குவாலிட்டி. Caring, he was a responsible child and he obey elders. Her qualities, her abilities, her character make her world best role model for every woman.